So I'm like, call the epidural man because I need it. Hi babes, welcome back to the palace. So today's video is going to be a labor and delivery story time. So June 23rd, I had an appointment, a regular scheduled appointment. So I went to my appointment and everything, they checked on baby, sonogram, everything was good. Baby was big. So she was just telling me, it's getting down to the wire. At this point moving forward, I think I was a day shy of 38 weeks. So at this point moving forward, I would have to have a doctor's appointment every single week. My doctor said that they don't check you unless you're having any type of, you know, active labor symptoms, because the more they check you, every time they go in and check, they're risking infection. So I didn't get checked. My cervix didn't get checked, but I was having a lot of vaginal pain. I had Braxton Hicks maybe 2 weeks prior to, but I knew that that wasn't real labor. Like, there was no way that little bit of pain was what I was going to go through. So after my appointment, it was, first of all, it was so hot that day. Had to be like 90 something degrees. And I remember because I had to leave the doctor and come back because I had a sonogram appointment. So I had a regular doctor's visit and a sonogram. So checked on baby, everything. They gave me a picture of what his face would look like and everything. And he did look just like that picture. So I left. I came back. When I finished with my appointment, my mom was there, and I was like, "Mom, I'm just ready to go home. Like, I'm in pain down there. I just want to lay down." So my mom was like, "No." All weeks prior to any type of pain that I felt, my mom was like, "The baby's coming, the baby's coming." So every time I was trying not to get excited because, like, towards the end of your pregnancy, I feel like a lot of people have anxiety. Like, they just want the baby to come. They just want the baby to come. But for me, it was more so like I wanted to see my baby, but I wanted him to have as much time inside as he could. Inside was safest for him, especially with COVID, everything. Like, inside was safest for him. So I wanted him to stay inside as long as he could, and as long as he needed to. So after I left my appointment, my mom was like, "The baby's coming, the baby's coming." So she had us walk. So I was walking. She was like, "Let's walk to go get cheesecake. Let's stop by your job, this and that." At this point, I was already out of work on maternity leave. So she's like, "Stop by your job, whatever, whatever." So I'm like, "Okay, fine, let's go." Well, actually, I wasn't. I was like, "Mom, I want to take a cab," but my mom forced me. So she was like, "If you walk, the baby's gonna come. The baby's gonna come." So we're walking, and we're walking. All I could think of was just, I want to take a cab. I want to take a cab. I want to take a cab home. So we're walk to my job, stop there. At that point, we were talking for a while. I was uncomfortable and I wanted to leave, and I was hot. I was hot as hell. So, okay. I get home, I get to my mother's house, and I'm like, I'm fine for a while. Elevating my feet and everything. My feet at this point were so swollen. Like, literally, all I have is like slides, and my foot couldn't even make it past the front part of the slide. That my feet were so fat and swollen. So the only thing that was fitting me at this point was a pair of flip flops, and they were blue, so they didn't even go with a lot of things. But that was the only thing that fit me, and I wore them. So that I started feeling more pain. So my mom was like, "Okay, go home, take a shower and hot water, and then rest your feet." So I believe I took a nap. I'm not sure, but I think I took a nap, and I woke up pretty late. I woke up almost like around probably midnight, and I took a shower, and then I was getting hungry. So I ordered Uber Eats to get a salad. So this salad, I had ate this salad around 3 o'clock in the morning. So 3 o'clock rolls around. I'm like, okay, I ate the salad, put everything away. I started winding down, getting ready for bed. I think I actually, yeah. So I started winding down, getting ready for bed. So I'm getting ready to get in the bed. Like, I'm literally pulling covers on. I'm like, shit, I have to pee. So fast forward. Right now it's about 4:45. I say, okay, I have to pee. So when I go to pee, I peed, obviously, wiped myself, everything, TMI, but, and then I was getting ready to leave the bathroom. So as I was getting ready to leave the bathroom, more water was coming down. So I'm like, okay, is this the point where pregnant people be peeing on themselves and not knowing because they can't feel what's going on down there or whatever? So I'm like, okay, the liquid that was coming down, I'm like, all right. So I wipe it. I'm like, okay. I wipe it, flush it, keep going. By the time I make it to my room, more water's coming out. So I'm like, I go back in the bathroom. I call my sister. She's right in the next room. So I call my sister and I'm like, Nate, like, do you think that my water is breaking? So she was like, I don't know, call mommy. So at this point, it's like 4:55, I want to say. So I'm calling my mom and I'm like, Ma, well, my sister's on the phone with my mom, but she's like, Ma, you know, Ari, the water's coming out, but she doesn't think that it's pee. She already peed, this and that. So then my mom is like, I don't know, because my mom had all of us and her water never broke. So she didn't know what it felt like or anything. So I'm like, okay, this doesn't help. So my water broke. And this is at 5 o'clock in the morning now. So I called my doctor. My doctor wasn't answering. I called the office. The office wasn't answering. I called another hospital that was close to me. They weren't really, since it was after hours, it was like the automated service. It wasn't like someone that you could actually talk to. So then I called 911 and I was like, I called 911 and I was like, so am I supposed to start getting ready to go to the hospital or do I wait to feel contractions? Because I wasn't feeling contractions. So they were like, no, once your water breaks, you need to go to the hospital. Do you want us to send an ambulance? So I said, no, I don't want them to send an ambulance. Say 20 minutes later-ish, I'm like, okay, whatever. I'm not feeling anything. Let me just lay down. I'll go in the morning. Because all the while, too, like with COVID and everything, I was trying my best not to go to the hospital unnecessarily. The hospital from my house in the cab would have been about a 40-minute drive. So I didn't want to go there. They checked me and I had to go home. Back at the house, the ambulance comes, the paramedics come, and they're like, okay. So my sister opens the door and they walk inside in my house and everything, and they have all this like little equipment and stuff, and they're like, okay. So they take my vitals there in my living room and they tell me, okay, well, we're going to the hospital. They was going to try to send me they have to send you to the nearest hospital. I'm like, that's not my hospital and that's a very bad hospital. So I was like, I'm not going there. So they was like, well, that's what we're cleared to do. I said, well, I didn't really call you, so you can leave. If, you know, I wasn't trying to be rude, but like, I didn't mean for you to waste your time because I didn't call you. So they were like, well, we're here, so we're going to call in and see if we could take you to your hospital. So I'm like, okay. So they call in. At this point now, my water is broken and I'm having slow leaking fluid. So this whole time I'm leaking fluid. So at this point, right before they came, I had my clothes in my hand ready to get in the shower. I have my clothes in my hand and they're like, okay, well, we got clearance to take you to your hospital. And I'm like, well, I already had my hospital bag packed and everything, so that wasn't the case. But I knew the only thing that I didn't pack in my hospital bag was my makeup because I was still wearing makeup, you know, up until. So I was like, okay, that'll be the last thing to pack. So then I was like, I'm not ready, so you guys can have a seat. I was like, I'm not ready, so you guys can have a seat while I grab the rest of my things. So I know they're like, okay, you know, she's grabbing her hospital bag, getting herself together. But I already had told them that my hospital bag was packed. So they were like, okay. I didn't even pack my makeup. I wanted to do my makeup at home and get there beat. So I already knew they wasn't going to wait for that. So I was like, okay, you know what? Fuck it. Let me just go. So I took the bare minimum of what I needed to do my makeup and I was in the ambulance. So At this point, it's maybe around, it's in the 6 o'clock range. I believe I got to the hospital at 6:45 because, like I said, it's like a 40-minute drive. So the whole time I'm in the ambulance, I'm still leaking fluid. So I get there, and I came in. They, brought me to triage. They told me someone's gonna check on me. So at this point, everything is fine. I'm not feeling any pain. They told me to go to the bathroom so that they can get my urine. When I peed in the bathroom, I felt like that made more water come out faster, faster, faster. Like it was like a gush of water. Water was coming out fast. My leggings were soaked. Like they were soaked. So by the time after they took my pee, I had to change my clothes, get into the gown. So they told me that they're going to check me. When they checked me, I was 1 centimeter dilated at 7 o'clock in the morning. They also told me that I need to get a COVID test. So at this point, I was shook because I was like, I seen all the memes with the shit looking like it's touching your ear through your nose, touching your brain through your nose. I'm like, oh, hell no. I do not have COVID, sis. I was not like, I don't have it. I don't have it. So it was not that bad. They did it. It was, like I said, it wasn't really painful, but it was uncomfortable. It was uncomfortable. Took it, then obviously not obviously, but I didn't have COVID. So they took me upstairs to the labor and delivery room. As soon as we got there, I'm like, I need to get something to eat. I need to get something to eat. So it's already been 4 hours since I ate last. Not that I eat on a specific schedule, but I knew once they put me in that room, I'm not going to be able to eat till I have the baby. So I didn't get to eat. I was in there at first. I was so tired by this point. Like, I was so tired. But now I started to feel contractions. So when I got up there, they gave me, I want to say maybe 15 minutes. And then they gave me the pill to start speeding up my contractions, which I'm pretty sure is called Pitocin, but I'm going to check. But they gave me the pill to start speeding up my contractions. So I want to say from 8:30 on, I was already feeling contractions, but they were far apart and it wasn't so much painful. So when I was timing it, I was having contractions about every 4 minutes. When they gave me the pill and the pill started kicking in, I want to say it started kicking in around 8:30, 9 o'clock. I was feeling contractions heavy, like bad. On the chart, I saw it was spiking up, so they were strong. And they were happening every 2 minutes at this point. So the whole time I'm thinking, okay, I want to go natural. I want to go natural. I want to go natural. So I'm like, all right, we're going to try as long as we can. So I'm so tired. I'm leaning over, but I can't go to sleep because I'm in pain. I was having excruciating back pains throughout my pregnancy. So at this point, my back was hurting so bad. Like, I was having labor through my back. Like, I was feeling it in my lower back, not even my stomach. And it was so painful. It was just like pain shooting up my back. And then I started getting the pain in my stomach every 2 minutes. So from there, I was on the phone with my mom. Cam's dad was there with me in the room. I was leaning over in pain on the phone with my mom. And then I want to say I was going through that. And then it was a certain turning point that I knew, like, the pains was just getting worse and worse. And I was like, oh, hell fucking no. I wasn't walking around or anything because I was just in so much pain. Like, I was just crippled in that space. So I was like, okay. And also, too, my water was still leaking. So it was cold as fuck in that hospital. When I tell you, in the bed, I was sitting in a pool of water. I was just in the gown. I think I still left my underwear on, but I was still in the gown. It was so cold. Mind you, I was already extremely anemic. So I was already freezing. And then it was cold in there on top of that. I had 3 hospital blankets. I was still cold. So I was like, I need my own sheets. I need my own pillow. I need my own stuff. So I was working on, and the car seat, but I knew the car seat could wait. So I was like, okay. They were arranging to bring that to me, and again, so they kept asking me, mind you, from 7 to every so often they would come in and ask me, do you want the epidural? Do you want the epidural? Let us know because it's going to take time. Do you want the epidural? Do you want the epidural? I'm like, no, no. And then I was like, I let out a scream and the doctor came in and she was like, are you okay? And I'm like, no, call the epidural man because I need it. So she called the guy. He came super fast. Like, I don't know, in some hospital maybe you have to wait a long time, but he came literally in like 15 to 20 minutes. So I was telling him all this information. I'm panicking. So when I'm panicked, I start talking a lot. And I'm like, okay, I just want to let you know I have scoliosis. So my spine is a little crooked. I hope that doesn't change, what you got going on. Mind you, I'm sure this man has done this 1,000 times. He knows what he's doing. He knows that you're going through active labor, that you're going to be moving, you're going to be tense, you're going to be all of these things. So all of these things that I was worried about, I had to get into my own head. And he was also reassuring me, like, I'm going to work with you. I'm going to breathe with you. I'm going to make sure that we get through this. So he came in. He's like, okay, breathe out. So I'm breathing out. I'm leaning forward. And he puts it in. And it is not bad. When I tell you, I'm not really, I don't know. I think I kind of have a high pain tolerance. But it was not bad. I didn't feel like I was moving. And the whole time I'm thinking it's like a needle. It's like a tube they put in your back, and then a needle they put through the tube, and then they like tape it to your back so it stays. So he had told me that, you push the button as much as you want. So, I mean, obviously they cap it so you can't harm yourself, but as much as you need, you can just keep pushing the button and it sends you more. So I didn't want to get it because I'm thinking that you're like paralyzed. It's not like that. When they gave it to me, it started working pretty quick, like quicker than I thought it was going to work. And I could still feel my legs. My legs felt tingly. Like, it feels like when you hit your funny bones. It was like tingling and numb. But it wasn't like I can't feel my legs at all. Like, I can move my legs up slowly, down slowly. But I couldn't hold it up and keep it up. Like, I didn't have that much feeling. So he also told me that depending on how you lay, if I lay to this side, then this leg, my left leg, is going to be more numb. If I lay to my right side, then my right leg is going to be more numb. So I have to keep switching positions or lay in the middle. I was so grateful for that epidural. When I tell you, that was the first bit of peace I felt. That was the first. I went to sleep instantly because I was so tired. Like, I was drained. I have to say this too. I decided to get the epidural also because when they checked me, I was only 2 centimeters dilated. I remember saying that it's been almost 8 hours. 1:30, almost 2, they checked my cervix and I was 2 centimeters dilated. I've been in labor for, I think I started kind of from 5. So I have been in labor for 8 hours, from 8 hours I was in labor. 6 of those 8 hours I was having contractions. 5 of those 8 hours I was having contractions every 2 minutes. And I was only 2 centimeters dilated. So that was the deciding factor that I said, hell no, give me that fucking epidural. So yeah, now fast forward, I got the epidural. Okay. So I went to sleep instantly. Woke up 7, they came and they checked me and she was like, you're there, like, it's time. Like, you're only supposed to be 10 centimeters dilated. So she was like, you're like 9.98, whatever. So she was getting the team ready to come in and, deliver this baby. So let me tell you what I was feeling. So it was not pain. I mean, you could expect that because I had an epidural, but they start wearing off your epidural as well because you have to have enough feeling, like, in your pelvic area to push. So, to feel a contraction to push. So, when they checked me at 7, it was go time. Like, the doctors came in and everything, and they were getting me ready. They was putting a little cap on my head, raising the bed up, putting the stirrups up, lifted my legs up, everything. When they put that light, I was like, it's going down now. So I was feeling a lot of pressure in my butt. Like, it felt like I had to take a shit. Like, it literally, and it didn't feel like I had to take a shit. It felt like when your shit is in limbo and it's stuck, like, like, it don't know if it want to go in or want to come out. That's what it felt like. It felt like I was in constipation and active constipation. Like, I just felt so much pressure on my butt. It felt like I had to doo-doo. I'm like, I feel like I have to doo-doo. She's like, no, that means that you have to push. Now it's time to push. So I was so scared. Like, throughout my whole pregnancy, I saw myself being pregnant up until the time I got to the hospital. I saw myself holding my beautiful baby, but I never saw the labor part. So keep in mind it's during COVID, so this whole time I had a mask on. The doctors, everybody had masks on, so I'm starting to push with the mask on and everything, and I'm pushing. The first push, I screamed, and the doctor was like, we're gonna, look at me. We're gonna do this. We're gonna get it together. So keep in mind, my baby's head wasn't all the way down. So at first, I had to push to get his head down where, they could see it and everything. And then it was time to push. So as I was pushing, they kept saying, I can see the head. I can see the head. I can see the head. So then it's like 20 minutes later, I'm like, so what? Like, I keep saying y'all can see the head. So somebody's lying because it's either the head is out or it's in. What is it? So I was getting tight. Like, so I'm like, okay, keep pushing. Okay. So when I started pushing, it was around 7:30. So 20 minutes, I was pushing. I probably just got the head down. So I'm on FaceTime with my mom, my sisters, and my cousin. So my mom was there, kind of. That made me feel better. But after I was pushing and nothing was happening, I was getting frustrated. And it literally takes everything out of you to push. And it's not even like just giving that good push. It's that you're like, push. You're giving everything you have in that push, and then it's like, breathe in, do it again. Breathe in, do it again. You're not even getting time. You're literally exhausted. Like, that oxygen that's not getting to your brain is making you feel dizzy. My oxygen levels were dropping, and they were like, if you don't start, well, I was pushing, but they was like, you have to keep pushing. At this point was when I was getting frustrated. So I was like, I'm pushing, but you guys are saying that the head is there, and then it's not, and then it's there, and then it's not. So at this point, I was like, I can't do it. Like, I just can't do it. And my mom always told me, she was like, I heard her. She was like, yes, you can, baby. Yes, you can. And I was like, I can't do it. Like, I can't do this by myself. I can't do this alone. And I was like, just so scared at this point, because my oxygen levels were dropping. So then they gave me the oxygen mask, and they told me that if I don't get the baby out soon, that I'm going to have a C-section. So I know that I didn't want that. So I started pushing, even though I was feeling dizzy. I was trying not to touch anything in the hospital. I was trying to, like, they had them ice, and I usually love ice, the hospital ice. And then I started, like, I was just so creeped out by germs at this point. So I was like, because I used to work, I'm not going to say where, but I used to work in a place where they had an ice machine, and I had to check the ice machine. And I checked the ice machine 3 times on my shift, and every time that I would check, it was like pink, slimy, mold. Imagine at the fucking doctors, who checks and cleans the ice machine? Who do you think? Right? So I did not want to eat that dirty ass ice. And but at this point, I was pushing and everything. I hadn't had anything to drink, anything to eat. I was so thirsty, like, I cotton mouth thirsty. So I was like, you know what, give me the fucking ice water. Drunk some of the ice water, and I was like, okay. So I was pushing. So they was like, do you want the mirror there to see what was going on? I said, no, thank you. I will not like to see what the fuck is going on down there. So then she was like, okay, She was like, the head is there. Feel the head. Feel the hair. Feel his hair. He has so much hair. And I'm like, no, I don't want to. So as time kept progressing, they was like, touch it, touch it. So I touched it and I was like, ew, so slimy. So after I touched his head, that really, really gave me the motivation. Like, literally in like 3 pushes after that, I pushed him out. But that literally gave me the motivation. There was a time where I blacked out, that I was so probably dehydrated and out of breath that I literally blacked out. And when my eyes were open again, everybody was just screaming, yelling, "You're doing so good! You keep pushing!" Da, 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 da. And there was a point where I was like, "Everybody has to be quiet. I cannot think. I need to focus on what I need to do, and everybody's talking. Let me focus." So had that whole breakdown. Pushed, and then they were also asking me to do a lot. Like, first I had the mask on. They was asking me to push. They was asking me to hold my legs up. They was asking me to lean back. Like, well, what the fuck are all of y'all here for? It was like 4 or 5 doctors in there. My child's father was in there. Like, I'm gonna need you to get a leg, you to get a leg, you to start patting my forehead, you to tell me yes you doing it good, and you to tell me yes you can do it. Like, let's put the team at better work here, because everybody just screaming at me and I don't like it. So push my baby out. So I gave birth at 8:13 p.m. to a beautiful, healthy baby boy, and he was 7.91 ounces. Heavy baby, okay? I know some people be like, I don't know how some people be like, oh yeah, he was 10 pounds. 10 pounds. That 7.9 was it, okay? That was a heavy baby. That was a big boy. Big head. So was wondering about tearing and things like that. I didn't really tear. For him to be so, well, I don't want to say so big, but for him to be a bigger baby, I didn't tear. He was like, my doctor couldn't even tell me if it was a 1st-degree tear, second. Like, she was like, it was so small that I have to put like 2 stitches. So I barely tore. Yeah. What they don't tell you, like, I mean, if you're a mom, you probably, or gonna be a mom, you're pregnant, you probably look into it, but literally right after you push that baby out, they're trying to get that placenta out, and it's literally like pushing out another baby. Like, not as painful, obviously, but like they're literally pushing on your stomach, trying to get it out. You're still contracting, you're still pushing. When they get it out, they have to, like, clean everything and everything. But they also gave me a lot of skin to skin time before they did anything. Before they like weighed him, put him in a little incubator, wiped him off and everything, they gave me a lot of skin to skin time, and I was so happy for that. I breastfed right away. My milk wasn't in yet, but a little bit was coming out, but obviously it wasn't enough to give him a real meal. Yeah, this is my little baby's footprints. Oh, so cute. But yeah, after I gave birth, I was freezing. Like, soon as he came out, I was like, like, I knew that the doctor was looking at me like I was crazy because I was shivering so bad. I couldn't even talk anything. I was so cold. Right after they cleaned me up and fixed, everything, stitched me up and everything, they had took me to, I don't remember what it's called, but it's the after delivery room. And when I was sitting in that wheelchair, I was freezing. I told you I had 3 hospital blankets. I had an extra blanket that I brought from home, and I was still cold. I guess, I was already anemic, so I lost so much blood that was obviously probably why I was really cold, dehydrated. And also, I forgot to tell you, I was telling y'all I was so fucking hungry. Yeah. Soon as they told me, oh, it's time, let's get the team ready, I told my sister, as soon as they say that, order my Shake Shack. So my first meal after I gave birth was Shake Shack, and I didn't even want it at that point. I was so mesmerized with my baby. Like, I'm not gonna lie, I drunk that motherfucking shake. That shake bust on another fucking level. But I just wanted to hold him and look at him, and I love him so much. Like, he is everything. He is 6 months. Okay. Big boy. Came a long way, but I love him so much. Okay. He's everything. Right, baby? That was my labor and delivery story. I hope that some of the information, Cam, you're shaking the camera. I hope that some of the information would help some pregnant moms, and, at least if anybody who wanted to know what it was like going through childbirth during COVID. Thank you so much for watching this video. Please like, comment, share, and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next one.